Hi, this time we're unboxing something I found at Marden's. I'll talk a little more about that store here in just a second, but I'll show you first what we're unboxing. It's this. It's a wired gaming controller. I don't even know what the brand is. So Marden's is a place where you can go, and I think they sell like stuff that's maybe been slightly damaged, maybe not the product itself, but maybe the box it came in, maybe had slight water damage or something. And sometimes they have a section where they have a really good sale on things. Even if most of those things aren't anything you would want, sometimes they do have something that might intrigue you a little bit. As you can see here, the box isn't in the best shape. The guy that sold this to me was kind enough to put tape on it for me. It was the last one. I looked for another one that wasn't all beat to heck like this, but this was the only one I could find. I don't know what all's in here, if there was a manual or not. I'm really curious what it's for. I'm assuming it is for PC. It's just really interesting to me that there's no like brand name on here. It just says wired game controller, and it's black. Now, I did do a video a while back about buying something from Marden's. I actually bought a little Blu-ray player, and I still have it. And it still works. So the packaging and the price doesn't necessarily represent the quality. The Blu-ray player I bought, you can buy the same one at Walmart, and I paid less than half for it there. I don't know why. I don't know what happened to the original box, but it works. Not everything in that store is a mess. In fact, it's just that sale section that looks like that. In fact, the rest of the store looks really nice. There's a fabric area, you know, they sell toys. They even have like a little food section, and that's all really nice and kept well. It's just when things go on sale, it tends to get moved around a lot, and boxes tend to get busted open. In fact, there's some stuff sitting there that's not even in a box with no price tag on it. I have no idea how you would even go about buying one of those things. But anyway, as you can see, I guess the internet price was $17.99. I don't know, it was just kind of written on there like that. Everything else was printed, but I didn't actually pay $17.99. It was a lot less than that because, as you can see, things go on sale a lot. So real quick before we try to open this, I want to find out what this thing is and what maybe the brand would be. So let's try to find it on the internet real quick. Okay, I think I might have found it. This looks exactly like the controller that I found. It has a circle around the right stick that lights up, and it looks like this one does too. So it looks like maybe at one point it was $40, unless that's just a fake price and it's always just $23.99, and this is just to make it look like a better deal. Now, $23.99 is a little different than $17.99, but yeah, whatever. So now let's try to find some evidence this is the same controller besides the way it looks. Because sometimes companies will put out like the same product under just like different names. If you look up capture cards, you can find almost like identical capture cards just under different names. So maybe that's what we're dealing with here. I'm not sure. It looks like there's some reviews, so let's check those out real quick. Works great if you can get it to connect Bluetooth to device with correct protocol. But it's wired though. What? This person says it sucks. I just received this today. Tried to connect to my gaming PC Windows 11. Both wired and Bluetooth keeps coming up with the same error message. Bluetooth? And what do you do with the wire then? Are we all talking about the same controller? Now this is interesting. Right here, it says it's plug and play and it works with all these different things. Actually, how old is this thing? Because they're showing a PS3 right here. Is there a date on here? Well, I don't see a date, but anyway. But right over here, you can see it says Opolar. So I wonder if that is what this is. There's no brand name on here. Why? Maybe it's written on the controller itself. So back to this thing for a moment. Probably should go over what's written on the box. It says 78.74 inch USB cable, colorful backlight, which is kind of cool, double joysticks and triggers. Well, I would hope so. Imagine if it only had the one thumbstick and one trigger. It would just be basically one Quest 2 controller. Double vibration motors. Does that mean one on this side and one on that side? That's a feature. Even though the gentleman at the store was kind enough to tape this for me, it's time to cut it open. If I try real hard, maybe I can will the knife into existence. Holy crap, it worked. Any excuse to use the space knife. So let's cut this open. You know what's funny? if when he taped this thing, if he just grabbed the tape and just started going around and around and around. All right, so you can see the box has been kind of beaten a little bit. A little bit. Kind of dirty too. But here's what's inside. What the heck did I just buy? Well, it's not exactly in the bubble wrap. Anyways, this is it. This is the controller. Is there a brand name written on it? Wired gaming controller. Damn. There's also no headphone jack. The sticks feel okay. They click in nice. D-pad feels a little wonky, maybe. The buttons feel like buttons, you know. These buttons up here are odd. Especially the triggers. They don't go in as far as you would expect them to. Feels like a really cheap Nintendo Switch controller. So, there's only one thing left to do. And that's to plug it into the computer and see if it works. Well, at least the lights come on. Wonder what those little lights in the center mean. There is no manual with this. It probably fell out somewhere in the store. Maybe I should go back and try to find it. Let's just get right to it. Let's see how this thing feels in a game. Man, are these headphones small or is my head just really big? Okay, well, we're here in Lies of P. And if we're gonna see if a controller is actually working right, this would probably be a good game to test it with. Alright, so let's go somewhere and get into a fight and see what happens. Man, these headphones stick out like a sore thumb, don't they? Okay, the buttons seem to work. Everything looks okay. Oh, whoa! Check this out. The letters and the buttons are kind of like down inside the button a little bit. It actually looks pretty cool. Kind of futuristic looking. Let's fight one more guy. So far, so good. Well, from what I did play of that, it felt pretty good. Even if the triggers stick out a little bit, they're kind of high, but you can use it. I kind of want to know what it feels like in a shooter, though. These headphones look ridiculous. There, that's a little better. Well, apparently my save file wasn't anywhere where there's enemies around, but we can still aim guns and see how they feel. So we'll get in first-person mode here, and we'll just see what it feels like. We'll aim at some lights. I mean, it feels okay. You can play games with this. The vibration works. All the buttons seem to work. It's not as precise as an Xbox controller or a PS5 controller, but it's usable. Well, we know it at least works on my laptop, so now let's check the consoles. Well, it seems to not do anything at all on the Xbox. And unfortunately, just like before, it doesn't work on the PS5 either. Hey, look at that. It actually does work with the PS3. Well, I hooked it up to the PS4 and no luck with that either. Well, at first I didn't think it worked with the Nintendo Switch, but if you use another controller and you go to Pro Controller Wired Communication, you can see that it actually does work with it. The Nintendo's A button is where this controller's B button is, so that's going to be confusing. What's really interesting is the home button does bring up the menu here, and if you hold it in, it even brings this up. I don't know why it doesn't work with the Xbox when it clearly works with the Xbox app. I guess there's just something different about the Xbox itself, even though it's basically functioning like an Xbox controller here. I don't know. Well, as we can see down here, it did work with my laptop, so it probably works with PC. It worked with the PS3, and at first I didn't think it was going to, but it did work with the Nintendo Switch. And it probably works with this stuff over here too, but I don't have an adapter to plug this thing into my phone to test it, so I have no idea. So if you do a search for wired gaming controller and you scroll down a little bit here, it actually does kind of pop up right here on Amazon. So let's check that out. And it doesn't really look like Amazon has a brand name written down either. Even on here though, it says it's compatible with the PS3 and Switch. It says Windows 10, 8, and 7, but I have Windows 11 and it seems to work fine for me. So one thing I did notice, on Amazon, the brand is something completely different. Even the manufacturer, they're the same manufacturer and brand. It's definitely a different name than the other one. It's got a 4.2 out of 5 rating though, out of 272 reviews. Okay, so one thing I didn't notice at first is on the side here, it does say manufacturer. So it looks like it says, and I hope I pronounce this right, Dongguan Qingsheng Electronics and Technology Co., Ltd. So that's also different than what we saw on Amazon. But there's no point in thinking about this any longer because it doesn't matter. What matters is it works. Man, you know what I just noticed? It's almost an exact copy of the Switch Pro controller. Most of the buttons are very similar. So that was an interesting little adventure we had here. But I guess that about does it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed making it. I do live stream on another channel called Ulrich Firelord Streams. Just streams after the name. And if you did happen to watch this video, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. It means a lot to me. And maybe I'll see you around on the internet again someday.